That's a long time, isn't it? 6:29. Mayor?
Yeah, ready.
This is the regular scheduled meeting of Joliet City Council for Tuesday, September 3rd, 2013. Chaired by the Honorable Mayor Thomas Girani. The invocation will be given by Reverend David Jaspers from the Ridgewood Baptist Church at 1968 Hillcrest Road, which after he will lead us in the pledge to the flag. So please rise.
Let's join our hearts in prayer together. Heavenly Father, it is a great honor for us to meet together tonight. We do thank you for our mayor and for the members of the council, and we ask for your wisdom for them tonight as they deliberate over a very important agenda. Thank you for this historic meeting as we're introduced to our new police chief, and I pray, Lord, for safety for him and wisdom and safety for all who serve our community and are so ready to put themselves in harm's way to keep us safe. We thank you for the invitation of your word that teaches us that when we lack wisdom, we are invited to turn to you and seek wisdom from you, knowing that you promise to give it to us graciously and generously. And we confess that we need that wisdom. I want to pray tonight for our city and thank you for the privilege that we have to live in this community. And may the decisions tonight be just, and may they protect the way of life that we enjoy here. And then, Lord, I also want to pray for our nation, our president, the very, very serious decisions that they are deliberating. And we ask, Lord, that your will would be accomplished and that our freedoms would continue to be protected. So bless this evening, we pray, and we'll thank you for this time in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Would you join me for our pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend. Yes, me too.
We'll start with roll call. Mayor Girani.
Here.
Councilwoman Barber. Absent. Councilman Girl.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman McFarland.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Whitaker. Here. Councilwoman Coleman. Here. Councilman Turk.
Here.
First on the agenda is approval of minutes. Is there a motion the minutes of the special and pre-council meeting held on August 19th, the regular meeting held on August 20th, and the special meeting held on August 27th, 2013 stand approved as recorded?
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Odenkirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman. Aye. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Mayor Girani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next, council committee reports. Legislative committee report.
Yes, we met last Monday, the 23rd, I believe it was. 26th, I'm sorry, in the city planning room. Councilman McFarland, myself, committee members, along with some of the other council members, Councilman Turk, I'm looking down there saying Turk, but Councilman John, I'm sorry, Girl, Councilman Turk, and we met along with the mayor. We basically had a meeting discussing the maps, changing the boundaries of the 5 districts. We heard from a lot of the city residents concerning the district, the boundaries changing for the districts, and a lot of the questions basically were on adding districts. So Mr. Thanis gave a good explanation on how to go about changing the districts. Some of the residents thought that it was going to be like a 30-day process before we come to the council for a vote on the new maps. The mayor suggested that we give them 60 days. So that's where we are at now. Councilman McFarland and I agreed to have that brought to the full council. I think we'll be doing that this evening, to give 60 days for some of the residents that were needing more time to go over the maps. So that's kind of where we left it at after answering, several questions about the boundaries changing as well as adding districts. And that kind of wrapped up the meeting. Thank you.
Just one comment. I would like, I know it's gonna be tough, whatever they decide to do, because if they try to move boundaries or whatever they remove, they're gonna have to add. I would like those that want it extended, maybe in 30 days, to come to this council and just kind of give us an update on where they're at and what they're doing with this redistricting, or whether they want to do that or add districts, just to kind of give us an update on where they're at. Okay.
Public Service Committee report.
The Public Service Committee of Councilman McFarland and myself met here in the conference room at 4:30 this afternoon to review the contracts, change orders, pay estimates, and final payments. Found them to be in order, recommend their approval. We also received a report from Jim Trisna about the intention of IDOT to change some of the bridges, the way they're operated. Right now, there are 6 bridges. The state would like to, or intends to do, connect them fiber optically with the network that would connect Ruby, Jackson, Cass, Jefferson, McDonough, and Brandon roads. Instead of having a bridge tender at each bridge for 3 shifts, they consolidated to run all 6 bridges at a central location with 3 bridge tenders on a 24/7 basis. So they expect that to start next summer. Each bridge will be out of commission for vehicle traffic for approximately 2 months. And the discussion was to do a public education so that everybody's well aware of how they can get around and get to the various businesses in downtown Joliet with as less inconvenience as possible.
Okay, so no other reports.
Excuse me. Sure, go ahead.
I had a comment. This is for Mr. Trisna. I put in a phone call last week about 5:45 in the morning. I was going east over the Jackson Street Bridge, and if you were coming west, the gate was down, but as you're going east, the green light has a broken glass, and so at a certain angle, it looks like a very bright white light, so you're kind of confused as to whether you should go or not. And I was wondering if that was reported to you, or if we talked to IDOT about it?
Jan, no, it wasn't reported to me, but
Okay.
we can talk. I'll get that information for you after the meeting, and
Okay.
we'll get a hold of IDOT for
I
it.
didn't mean to put you on the spot. I didn't know if you
problem.
had heard
No,
about
I
it
had
or
not heard of that, but
Okay, we'll talk about it later
We'll
then.
let them know.
Thank
Okay.
Jan, I'd like maybe within a month or so, a report from the Diversity Committee on what you see, what direction you're heading.
Well, right now, we're kind of like, we're on hold.
Okay.
I was waiting to hear back from some of the union members that were there, and they were going to take this plan that the Black Contractors Association had. They were going to take it to their union and see if they couldn't get this committee going again that they'd had before. So I haven't heard back from them as yet.
They did supply you with a plan.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I didn't get the plan. It was submitted to
The
the
union?
union
Oh,
members, yes.
all right, thank you.
Next is agenda items and reports. Under presentations, the introduction of the new police chief.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, it gives me great pleasure to affirm what was announced last week, and that's the appointment of Brian Benton, who was a commander with the Joliet Police Department, to the position of Chief of Police. Brian has been employed by the City of Joliet for 23 years. Brian and I have gotten to know each other very well over the last 5.5 years in our capacity as city manager and commander. And when we went through the process, Brian certainly impressed me to the point where I knew he was ready to take this position over. So what I'd like to do is have Brian introduce himself, also invite to the podium his wife, Alex, and I think he has his fan club present also. And they're certainly welcome to join you at the appropriate time for pictures. So what we'd like to do, though, is have Alex do the ceremonial pinning, placing the pin on Chief Benton. So we'll go ahead, and Brian, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves to the mayor and council and to the public.
I will. First of all, I'd like to say thank you, Mr. City Manager. Thank you for the confidence and for affording me this opportunity to assume this role. I am both humbled and honored at the opportunity to serve you. I'd like to thank the mayor and the city council for your support throughout the process. I'd like to thank the many members of the general public that came forward and offered words of support and encouragement. I know this wasn't a difficult decision. I see the qualifications of the other applicants, and I know that I was up against some very stiff competition, some great men, and I have high standards to uphold to. I'd like to thank my wife, Alex, my daughter, Marissa, my son, Noah, and my son, Jacob, for their support for many nights that I couldn't spend at home, whether it be at a call-out or a community meeting or going to school to further my education to help me get to the position that I am today. I'm also very grateful to all the fine men and women of the Joliet Police Department who have supported me and helped me get to this point, many of who are in this room tonight, and I thank them. We have a lot of goals that we need to set together. We have to continue to further the mission of the Joliet Police Department, which is to work with the community for a safe city. I look forward to the experience and to continue what the chiefs before me have started. So thank you very much.
Before the trouble starts. You can't, yeah, but he's already gone. If you want to say something. Well, he's still over there. He's still over there. Chief? Chief? All right. I believe there's some comments that want to be made. Larry, you asked.
Yeah, so I wanted to congratulate Chief Benton. I wanted to also tell City Manager Tom Thanis, thank God you had to make the choice. We had some good candidates. It was a tough decision. But I know with your young family, we're going to have you here for a while. We couldn't be in better hands. And I read the article about you in the Herald News. So I just wanted to know, did you solve the great maple syrup caper?
I think that's going to endure.
Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
Congratulations, Brian.
Congratulations.
Yes. Krista?
Next is a presentation by Lisa Dorothy regarding the status of downtown projects.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, while Lisa's making her way to the podium, I think many of us who work in downtown Joliet have been dealing with a lot of construction that's been going on. I've told the local business people and fellow government workers in downtown Joliet that everything that's happening is for the betterment of downtown and just to be patient. But what I thought we'd do this evening is have Lisa spend a few minutes explaining the various companies and agencies that are actually doing work in downtown Joliet so people understand or have a better understanding of what's actually happening. So I'll turn it over to Lisa, who's been coordinating all these agencies and governmental and companies that have been doing a lot of work in downtown. Lisa.
The first map is a general overview that breaks things out based on IDOT's projects, which are in purple, the multiple utility projects, which are in red. Down below are the city projects in blue, and the small yellow is the current transportation center project area. As you can see, most of the construction that's happening right now downtown is actually utility and IDOT prep work. The transportation center actually is not affecting traffic at this time. We will have some road closures to do bridge work on Metro's behalf, but at this point, our site is contained. There are 2 city projects that are active on the south side of the map. Des Plaines is about half done. That's a large storm sewer project. And a water main project on Allen and Joliet has begun as well. The other projects will be starting shortly on the city's behalf for the water main work. The next map breaks those projects out individually, and they're color-coded. And for the council who have the packets, the color codes match up with the project information on the following listing. So later, when you're trying to ascertain which project is affecting someone who might call you, you'll have that information broken out by project. The majority of the work going on right now is being done by NICOR. The other 2 utility companies that had relocations to do have pretty much finished their work. NICOR is currently very active on Ottawa, Scott, and Jefferson. The Scott Street actually is nearly finished. They have turned that over for IDOT's construction crews to start work in preparation for paving that area. Cass Street has been permanently patched by NICOR and has also been turned over to IDOT's crew. That is deconstruction, and they will be starting their overlay of the section from the river to Eastern. The section on the other side of the river has been completed already by deconstruction. The third project is Ottawa Street. Right now, the majority of the gas company crews are on Ottawa and Jefferson, trying to make sure that they get as much work done on Ottawa as soon as possible in the hopes that the state will still be able to resurface Ottawa before the weather turns. Right now, we are on schedule for that. NICOR has committed a lot of resources to the downtown area to try to make sure that IDOT's work can be completed this year. Are there any questions about any particular project right now?
Lisa, could you explain what NICOR is actually doing?
NICOR is in the process of transferring every service in the downtown area from the old low-pressure gas main system onto the new high-pressure gas system. At this point, at the end of this year's construction, the only work left downtown to be done will be on Chicago Street. Every other service will have been moved over to the new system. Next year, they have programmed Chicago Street from Jefferson all the way up to Ruby Street. We've initiated conversations with City Center Partnership to try and coordinate their schedule of all of the events that they handle down there, and act as a liaison then with NICOR to ensure that if it's possible to minimize their impacts on those events, every effort will be made to prioritize those.
If you could explain how NICOR has accelerated some of their projects because of the additional funding we were able to receive for overlays by the state.
NICOR had programmed this work over the course of the next 3 years. They had intended to work on Cass this year. The state was able to find additional funding to do the Washington Scott overlay and the Ottawa overlay, and that accelerated NICOR's program. In order to avoid having ribbon patches through a brand new resurfaced roadway, they've expedited their system and their crossovers in order to make sure that that doesn't happen. As I said, the work on Jefferson will be permanent patches. We'll see that until we have a future project to take care of that. But the 3 major thoroughfares are going to be resurfaced, so you won't see those patches.
Lisa, how long is the completion for all this? What are we looking at, end of 14 or end of 15?
There's still hope that everything will be completed and resurfaced this year. And normally resurfacings are finished before Thanksgiving. So the goals and the schedules that are outlined right here put us to the last project, which is Ottawa Street. We're still hopeful to have that resurfaced by mid-November.
Wow.
Mayor?
It's a very aggressive schedule.
I'll say. Yeah.
I don't know, this question isn't directed at Lisa. I appreciate the presentation. More to you, Tom. What are we doing with the local businesses to stay on top of this? Having gone through it myself as a business owner, it's imperative that we have reached out and continue to reach out.
Lisa provides frequent updates to the City Center Partnership. The partnership then does an email blast to all of the businesses that have signed up for their email distribution list. And we've had some owners and managers meetings where we've explained what's going on. I know Lisa's gone to marketing committee meetings of the partnership, and we've informed them as to the schedule, and we will continue doing that.
And have we been able, Lisa, to keep the businesses accessible during the project?
Yes, there's been, efforts have been made to minimize the traffic enclosures to ensure that as much parking that can be available has been available. So they've shortened those up, whereas it would have been much more convenient for them to close off the entire section and just leave it closed. They've moved those enclosures around to maximize parking for the businesses. Pam Owens has been aggressively participating in the organization of that and making sure that that information gets out to the businesses in that area.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, Lisa?
The only other information that we have is just the summary of the, that's the project information that we just ran through. And then there's the general information about the scheduling for the Gateway Center, Transportation Center. We are in the middle of phase 2, which is the construction of the platform, and that work is ongoing. It will not be finished until next spring. And then the next page is the programming for the bus depot and the temporary, or the Heritage Corridor platform, and finally the new Transportation Center building itself.
Lisa,
And
did you address the bridge closures in your presentation?
No,
If you could address that, because I know the bridge
Sure.
closures.
Comes into play on the next slide, if you want to go ahead and pull up the haulers route. We worked with the state. Originally, they had programmed for the Jefferson Street Bridge to be closed starting September 3rd. Because of the haulers parade, we made a request that they delay that closure, and they were willing to move that so that the haulers route could use Jefferson Street Bridge to get downtown. If the contractor then had to reschedule, so instead of starting immediately after the haulers parade, they'll start the week after that. So that bridge will be closed, at this time it's scheduled for the 23rd of September for approximately 3 weeks. The Jackson Street Bridge has a 1-day closure on the 10th of this month for inspections in order for them to evaluate what will need to happen for the future closure, but that closure will be just for half the day. They'll start at about 4 o'clock in the morning and hopefully be open in time for evening rush hour. And then after the Jefferson Street Bridge improvements, they'll jump back to Jackson for 1 week.
Yeah.
Lisa, if you don't mind going back to the phase, I guess would be the slide. There we go, one more. Could you just highlight for the public's information when this new platform, when the construction starts, my understanding that there's going to be some busing going on. Is that in this phase? Is that the next phase?
It's part of this project. It will be, there are times where the work that has to happen for the platform will be close enough to the tracks that Metro's regulations require that the trains not run. During those phases, we will have busing. That will be advertised, and the PR will be run through Metro as well as us. And once we get further into the scheduling and we can really nail those dates down and find out the least impact times to commuters, the least loads, and the freight traffic through there, then those dates will be advertised well in advance. We're looking at probably 3 times that we'll have to do that.
3 individual days?
3 weeks. So there'll be 1 week closures, 3 different times depending on the phase of construction happening.
Can I request that we host some type of community meeting on this prior to this? Maybe have the mayor, at-large council members, and maybe the whole council, just as an awareness of this. I've been receiving a lot of calls on what's the next phase and step and whatnot. And I think if we can kind of calm the fears and the worries that the busing's available and that there's opportunities for folks to get into the city or wherever else they're going, for folks not to kind of just flee to other metro stations and
At this time, the city, the contractor, and Metra are still negotiating the best times for those closures. I think as soon as we've established when the lowest impacts would be, that would be the best time to schedule that meeting. And it may turn out that you'd want to have multiple meetings if we can firm up the first ones and maybe have the last one be flexible.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Just one. Those dates again, you said Jackson Street would be September 10th?
For one
Jackson
day.
Street has a one-day closure, a partial day closure on the 10th to allow for inspections.
Okay.
And then later in October, there's a one-week period for that. The Jefferson Street Bridge is the one that will close on the 23rd of
23rd.
September through approximately October 11th, so for 3 weeks. It's possible that would be foreshortened, and then that would alter the start date for the Jackson Street repair. I take those routes, so that's why I wanted to know. Thank you. Yes, the state does press releases regarding those bridge closures. Thank you so much.
Yeah, one last thing, this actually is directed to Scott, IT. It made me think of it. I communicate quite a bit with a lot of the constituents in my district through Facebook and other social medias. We certainly, when we receive the PDFs, I have to try to get the best picture I can with my camera to post it. Is there any way from IT to convert that to a GIF or a TIFF so that we can actually post it on media, you know, the actual memos?
Larry, there is definitely ways to convert those types of files into different formats to pretty much whatever you want.
I mean, can you do that?
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm just thinking all of us then, when we post it, I don't know, you understand what I'm saying. I got to physically take a picture of the memo, print it out. I don't have any kind of, I'm not a computer expert. I don't have any kind of conversion program that I'm aware of. But if we can get, when we send out the PDF, at least to council members, if we could send it a version in a GIF or a TIFF type format too, then we can upload it to social media right away without taking pictures, and it looks clean.
Sure, if you can send it to me in a format that you want it to appear in, then we can convert it to whatever you want.
Okay, thanks.
Bet.
Anybody else? Thank you. Thanks, Lisa. Good job.
Next is a review of the process for approving a new boundary map for councilmanic districts.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Councilman Morris touched on this earlier during committee reports. The legislative committee had about an hour and a half session with members of the public regarding the redistricting or the new boundary map for the 5 councilmanic districts. The original proposal was to have a 30-day period before it would come back to the mayor and city council for a formal vote. Suggestion was made to go with a 60-day process. That would put us either at the, I believe it's the October 15th meeting or the November 5th meeting. I'd certainly defer to your judgment on which one you'd like to take action on. The October 15th meeting is just a few days shy of 60 days. Obviously, November 5th, to be closer to 70 days or so. So you don't have to necessarily decide that this evening, but I think members of the public would like to know what date you'd like to have this brought back before you. So we're certainly willing to do whatever you'd like to do on this, on the selection of the date.
It's your pleasure.
I might, if we're looking for a motion, I might make a motion that we extend it to the November date, unless there's going to be a problem with that date, Tom, that you might inform us of. Otherwise, the November date's fine. I would make a motion that we set that tonight so people know how long they've got to respond to us.
What'd you say, October? was how
October
many days?
15th or November 5th. Those would be our regular meetings. Now, we can always have a special meeting too, but I'm assuming that we'd like to put this on a regular meeting agenda, so it would be acted upon on a Tuesday night at 6:30.
How many days was October?
October 15th gets us right around 52 or 53 days from the legislative committee meeting, and actually it's 60 days from the original meeting when the city council first saw this at a pre-council meeting, saw the original map at the pre-council meeting.
I'll second that.
And that was for the November 5th date, Mayor.
That's the motion, November 5th. Krista?
Been motion and seconded to extend the review period for the new boundary map to the November 5th meeting. Councilman Hogg.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
I'm going to vote aye, but I want, I'd like to see whoever is talking about doing this, the people that were at the meeting, here in 30 days to give us an update on if, in fact, what they're doing, if anything. Okay? I vote aye.
Motion carried.
Mayor, question?
Yes.
When, do you want them at a regular meeting, or are you gonna have like a special meeting for that?
No, the regular meeting.
Regular,
Yeah,
have them come
in
30
30
days. So what meeting would that be? I'm just curious. I agree with you. I think it's a good idea. I'm just wondering.
Well, it-
Mayor,
30 day, it'd be October,
First meeting in October.
first meeting in October.
First meeting in October, whatever.
First
that is.
Monday in October.
Well, that would be October 1st would be our first meeting in October.
I'd just like to clarify at the legislative meeting, I thought we left it if there was any changes recommended, it would come back to the committee to look at. But as we left that meeting, the current map proposed stands. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
You are, but they had,
So I don't see why we'd have the public come and present to us and we gotta go back to the committee, then come back and vote. I'd rather keep it the way we agreed at the last legislative committee meeting. If anybody from the public has suggestions or alterations, it comes back to our committee, through either the city
don't-
manager's office or the chairman, Mr.
I don't
Morris.
have any
and
problem
then
with that, but I just want to
it's getting
report,
confusing.
I just want to report that they report to the committee. Maybe go through the minutes and find out those people that wanted it extended and contact those people. Somebody from here contact those people and ask them to come to the legislative committee in 30 days, just to kind of give an update.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I think there were two issues that were raised at the meeting. One issue dealt with just moving boundary lines on the proposed map. We made it clear that that's still very doable, but I reminded everyone, for every time we move a line, another line has to move, because what the Constitution requires is an equal balance or equal representation among the 5 councilmanic districts, no different than the congressional districts, Senate districts, any kind of boundary type elected body requires equal representation. And I think some of the residents were going to look at the map that we've had posted on the website and made available in the clerk's office to determine whether there be any adjustments in the lines that might be appropriate from their perspective, and that would go back to the legislative committee. We did indicate they could either let me know at the city manager's office, let the city clerk know, either by email, in writing, or in person, or whether they'd like to make a presentation. We'd be happy to accommodate them. The second issue that arose was dealing with the addition of districts or creation of more districts than 5 districts that we've had since the 1950s. And we had indicated at the meeting that any change like that would be viewed as a change in the form of our government, which would have to be approved during an election by way of the referendum process, and that's something that citizens could initiate. It's not a difficult process, other than gathering signatures and going through the statutory requirements for getting the referendum on the ballot. But that really was the second topic, and I think the way we left it there was if any of the residents or any of the people at the meeting wanted to do that, they'd have the ability to initiate that. So, and I'm sure they'll let us know if they're planning on doing that, but it was my belief that that could not be done in time for the 2015 district councilman election. It would be done for the 2019 election. And what election they selected, whether it's next year's general election or the 2015 municipal election, that would be up to the people who are initiating that referendum.
Mayor?
Yep.
And just to follow up on what Tom had said, when I was at the legislative committee meeting, I talked to several of the folks, in fact, most of them afterwards, and I've talked to a couple since, and you're spot on. Really what they're after, a lot of them, is what they're trying to accomplish. They've kind of expressed to me it can't be accomplished by tweaking out the 5 districts. So they're looking at that, the concept of moving it to 8 districts or 7 districts. And you did explain that evening very concisely on how they had to do it. Certainly the council, just to make it clear, could vote to put a referendum on too, and that was brought to our attention that night. And in speaking to some of the leaders of the movement, if you will, to increase the districts, I explained to them that would probably take as long as a citizens referendum move, because we had 25 people there. We have 148,000 people in the city. And I explained to them, even if we wanted to consider doing that, we would certainly need to have quite a series of public hearings, because it's not automatically assumed that every citizen wants to add districts. and we'd have to get a feel for that. So I had talked to him since then about that too. So I kind of agree with Councilman McFarland. I remembered your name. You know, I walked away with if there was anything specifically that people wanted to tweak, but that we were basically going forward with the map that had been generated by the computer and staff. And certainly, I think it's a great idea what the mayor said to encourage them to come. But they can come to any meeting now over the 60 days, sign up ahead of time to speak, and let us know what they think.
That was my understanding too. We were going with the existing map. They wanted to make changes. They had to come back to the committee and suggest them. Absolutely. Anybody else?
Your Honor, just, Jerry, have you been contacted since that last meeting with any suggestions from anyone?
No. No, I haven't.
Thank you.
Next, under public hearings, Council Memo 379-13, approving the annexation of 115.132 acres located on the east side of Patterson Road, north of Laraway Road, the annexation of 110.021 acres located on the west side of Patterson Road, north of Laraway Road, and the annexation of 20.306 acres located on the east side of Patterson Road, north of Laraway Road. It is recommended Council Memo 379-13 be tabled to the October 1st council meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Krista?
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hugg?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Ordinances and resolutions. Under ordinances, Council Memo 380-13, ordinance approving a special use permit to allow an indoor truck repair facility located at 251 Republic Avenue. It is recommended that ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Comments?
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hugg?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 381-13, an ordinance proposing the establishment of the Route 53 and Laraway Road Business District. It is recommended said ordinance be adopted.
Tom?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council memo before you recommends the passage of an ordinance that creates an additional 1% sales tax on non-gas or fuel items that are sold at the new Route 66 Fuel and Go that's being constructed and actually ready to open any day now at Laraway Road and Route 53. You may recall that this came before you a few months ago. It was a corner that had been subdivided several years ago, but unfortunately with the recession it sat vacant for a long time. This is the first major project there. And what this does is it allows the addition of a 1% sales tax to the sales of food and drink from and other merchandise from that facility that will go to subsidize the abatement that we provided, or a rebate that we provided to the developer of the gas station, so we could have a phasing in of the fuel tax that we have, the sales tax on fuel sales. I'm sure you all know that the gasoline business is very competitive. People look at that sign that's on the road, and they're looking at going at the place that's a penny or two less frequently. This allows this particular operator to compete with some businesses in the area that are not in the city and don't have a home rule sales tax to charge as part of the cost for a gallon of gasoline. So this is merely following up on the agreement that was entered into a few months ago, and it only applies to the sales that take place at the convenience store and the restaurant that'll be at that corner. Mr. Hansen's present on behalf of the developer if you have any questions of the developer, but it looks like they're getting ready to open and should be open in time for the race weekend of the 12th through 14th.
Any questions, comments, motion?
So moved.
Second.
Krista?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hugg?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Approval of regular current bills. Council Memo 383-13, regular payroll for July 26th through August 8th, 2013, $3,190,620.42. It is recommended said regular payroll be approved.
So moved.
Second?
Krista?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hogg.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk.
Aye.
Mayor Durante.
Aye.
Motion carried. Bids and contracts. Under award of contracts, Council Memo 385-13, purchase 2 backhoe loaders for the Utilities Department. Council Memo 386-13, purchase a compact track loader for the Utilities Department. Council Memo 387-13, trade-in a 1988 Reserve Fire Engine. Council Memo 388-13, award a contract for maintenance to the #1 final clarifier at the West Side Treatment Plant. Council Memo 389-13, purchase water meters and smart point radios. Council Memo 390-13, award a professional service agreement for combined sewer overflow regulator monitoring stations. It is recommended Council Memos 385 through 390-13 be approved.
So moved.
Second?
Any questions? Hearing none. Krista?
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk,
Aye.
Councilman Girl,
Aye.
Councilman Hogg,
Aye.
Councilman McFarland,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk,
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman,
Aye.
Mayor Durante.
Aye.
Motion carried. Amendments, change orders, and payments. Council Memo 392-13. Request for authorization to approve change order number 3 and payment number 18 and final for the Black Road Lift Station contract number 4. It is recommended Council Memo 392-13 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Krista?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl,
Aye.
Councilman Hogg.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Mayor Durante.
Aye.
Motion carried. Licenses and permit applications, Council Memo 395-13 was withdrawn. Next, under Mayor Durante appointments.
None.
None. Next is new business not for final action or recommendation.
Anything?
Question, Mayor, why was that withdrawn?
How do I answer this? Well,
Well, I read the whole report and everything looked all like
Well,
it was
we-
okay.
some new stuff come to
Okay,
light.
that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Krista?
Next, we'll have citizens to be heard. Denise Meehan is here regarding the Ladies Auxiliary Cantigny Career and Education Fair.
Members of the City Council, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Tony Ariano. I'm commander of Cantigny Post VFW. The VFW is very much a community partner. We work with the schools providing flags, running essay contests on Americanism. We work with the City of Joliet honoring their police and fire departments. Annually, we send care packages to our men and women serving overseas, last year spending over $8,000. But our most important job is providing for the needs of the veterans that will be returning, and a lot of them will be returning shortly. Two of those pressing needs are employment and education. To help fill those needs, Denise Meehan has started a program at Cantigny Post VFW that is going to be a wonderful event. This is Denise Meehan with the Ladies Auxiliary to the VFW. We will talk about it.
Thank you, Commander. Thank you, everyone, for your time and your attention. I come bearing gifts, and I've handed you all a copy of the flyer for our Career and Education Fair. It's on October 19th. This event is unique for a couple of different components. We have 5 separate components that we're going to be running. As you'll see on there, we have workshops being set up for resume writing, specifically titled The Art of Translation, translating military occupational specialty job skills into civilian career job skills. In talking with veterans, that is the one piece to veteran employment that they struggle the hardest with. The gentleman by the name of Adam Thomas, who owns a company called Iconovation, and he is also an author of a book called Career Planning and Development, Placing Yourself into Successful Positions. And he has graciously agreed to run a series of these workshops for us on the 19th. Another component is schools. Lewis University and JJC, Northern Illinois University, Ohio Technical School, and Universal Technical Institute have all agreed and will be represented at the post at this event. Each of these schools was selected intentionally because of their commitment to and involvement with veterans and their understanding of the unique needs of veteran students. We have a series of employers. We've got probably about 24 now. We are still looking for a few more select employers. The employers that we are reaching out to and have reached out to are those who are intentionally hiring veterans, not showing up at a career fair so that they can check the box and get the tax bait. These are employers that are looking to hire veterans, recognizing and understanding the unique job skills and experiences that veterans bring to the workforce. We, of course, have veteran services in supply. We have the Will County Veterans Assistance Commission as well as the Grundy County. Will County Veterans Assistance Commission has been instrumental in preparing this event and in getting this off the ground with us. We also have, of course, the VA and the Vet Center and a few other non-governmental and nonprofit organizations that offer a variety of services for veterans. The fifth piece of the pie that is the most unique is CMS testing. In short, CMS is Central Management Services. Anyone that is looking for employment with the state of Illinois needs to go through the process, which includes testing, kind of like a civil servant exam, through the state of Illinois. Normally, you have to go to either the Thompson Center downtown Chicago or Springfield or Champaign to take this testing. CMS has agreed to bring their entire mobile testing center to Cantigny VFW Post on October 19th. They will have no less than 15 testing stations, in addition to counselors or advisors to help veterans get through the process, select open positions, and select future employment with the state. There's actually a sixth component, which is listed at the bottom of the flyer. And this is in partnership with JJC and Lewis University, and they're calling it the Career Fair Boot Camp. The idea is to have a workshop for veterans who may not have been successful at career fairs in the past, or who are looking at a career fair for the very first time. They will have a woman by the name of Marcy Weiss, who is a 9-year Army veteran, and she holds a PhD as well, and she is the author of a book called Your Redeployment Guide to Corporate America. That event on the 3rd is being set up as sort of a feeder event for the 19th, but it is a standalone event. On the flyer that you have in front of you is the VFW367.org website. On our website, we have live links for the various components. The workshops, both on October 3rd as well as the workshop running on the 19th, do not strictly require pre-registration, though it is highly recommended, as is pre-registration for the CMS testing. For veterans, there are specific forms that they will need to bring, such as their DD-214 or DD-215, to prove their veteran status and receive preferential placement and testing with CMS. At this point, we're asking the City Council for 3 things. First is assistance with awareness, promoting this event and helping us get this in front of as many eyes as possible. So far, through our various channels of communication, through our various partners that are working with us on this, we're reaching about 6,000 veterans. There's more, and we need to get this in front of everyone that could possibly benefit. The second part of the awareness or the assistance that we're asking for is specifically there's a few employer spots left. We have limited space, and again, we're being very selective on which employers that we are reaching out to and inviting to attend at the event, but we are still looking for a few select employers. So assistance with the business community on that, whatever efforts that the individual council members could make would be greatly appreciated. And the third part of what we're asking for, or what I'm asking for, is specifically $540. It's a very exact amount. That is the amount that we need to cover the food, the box lunches and the food for our vendors. And that's about all I have. Any questions?
Mayor, if I may suggest that the council if you have a problem, if we could not only put this up on our website and Facebook, but also on those advertising signs that we have throughout the city to help them promote that.
Sure, I'm sure they will. Tom's making notes over there.
Yeah, we'd be happy to. This is the type of event that the Digital Sign Network was intended to help promote, and I know since I've taken that duty over from Ben, and Ken's been helping me with it, we've gotten quite a few requests. I'm amazed how many requests there are. And I will ask you if you have an electronic version of this, that would help, if you could email it to me.
Yes, I do, and I'd be happy to email that to you.
Great.
As soon as I have your email address, I'll forward it on to you. We have two versions of the flyer. We have an electronic version of the flyer that contains the live links. What I've passed out this evening is the print version, simply because it's easiest to see one website to go to for all of the different components to register, and it's all of this is live on www.vfw367.org. And I will be happy to forward both of those links to you, Mr. City Manager.
Mayor,
And thank you.
Yes.
might I add to, we have that space on the water bill to augment those things, and as well as reaching out to our volunteers at Channel 6 to be certain they run it. That way you see as many as possible. I would make a motion for the city to fund the $540.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, maybe I can jump in here. We do receive a lot of requests for financial assistance on the funding of various events, and I know that during the years when we had gaming revenue coming in strong and a lot of other strong revenue streams, we were in a very fortunate position to be able to help. I do turn down all requests when they come to me administratively. I know it's very difficult for you to turn this one down because it's such a great cause, but I am a little concerned because we really don't have any type of allocation in our budget for these types of sponsorships or support. I know that we have a big budget, but we've been very cautious because it does open the door for other requests to start coming back to us like they were coming back before 2008. I'm sure that there are businesses that would be more than happy to help out for a worthy cause like this. We'll spread the word, but my recommendation would be to allow us to work with the sponsors to find another funding source and not necessarily use city dollars for the actual sponsorship.
I would suggest that you send each of us an email requesting funds. Maybe we can raise the $540 amongst us.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor. I will be
With
happy
that
to
said,
do
Glad you
so.
said that, because I was gonna say, I can help you raise the
Sure.
money.
I will
Outstanding.
withdraw the
Thank you.
motion. How's that?
Okay.
Officially.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next under citizens to be heard was Christopher Pedersen. I do not believe he's in attendance this evening.
Christopher.
Mayor and council comments is next.
Oh, it's okay. Comments? Like, Councilwoman?
Was there an accident this morning at Jefferson and Rayner? Does anyone know? Well, I received a phone call this morning that there was yet another accident at Jefferson and Rayner, and I guess there have been several in the last couple of years, and this resident wanted a traffic study done. Apparently there's some type of blind spot when I didn't quite understand the directions, but I can give you her phone number and we can look at it later.
There was an accident.
There was anybody hurt?
No. That's it.
That's it. Thanks.
No comments.
I would just like to welcome O'Reilly's Auto on Jefferson Street. Also Jersey Mike Subs, which is coming out on Caton Farm Road. And also Firaco's out off of Route 59. So welcome. And I'm asking the public to please patronize them so we can keep them in business.
I just, briefly, Mayor, have we picked a date for the first Economic Development Committee meeting? We're working on that, though?
Tell you the truth, over the weekend, holiday weekend, I didn't think about it, but I will work on it.
Okay. And other than that, just want to remind the residents in District 1 to go to Joliet District 1 Facebook page and continue to sign up. It's been a pretty big hit. We've got quite a few people, and we've really been communicating, and it's really smooth. That's why I asked Scott earlier about making it a tad bit easier to get the memos up and the press releases. So just a reminder to those that live in District 1, to go to, if they're on Facebook, if they're active on the social network, it's Joliet District 1. is the name of the Facebook page, and that's it.
No comment.
Just, you mentioned Frianco's, I was out there for a ribbon cutting. They did a beautiful job with the decoration, the food was pretty good, so, it is a nice place, that's all. September 12th, race fan rally downtown, they got some big race stars. The hauler parade starts 4 o'clock at the Hollywood Casino, it's gonna come through downtown. You'll never see so much money on wheels in your life as those semis that haul them cars around, but, that's all I have. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second?
Been motioned and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.